What's going on, guys? Actually gonna do another video series here. I know you guys are thinking like, this guy is crazy, he's got all these series but he's not doing like a second video to any of the series. Promise you, come back around to that. Anyways, this video series is gonna be like about newsworthy type topics. Thinking about right now like pharmacy, healthcare, or informatics in general. I think there's always like great information out there that can be said. So I think this series will probably get more attention than the others. For today though, very interesting news. I want to talk about the whole thing about Amazon's secret lab called 1492. So that being said, let's go. So big news hit on July 27th in a landmark trial published by CNBC. That's sarcasm, by the way, if you don't understand, because, you know, landmark trials are more so evidence-based. All right, that was kind of nerdy. Anyways, so CNBC published this article that talks about how Amazon has this like secret unit, lab, department, whatever, called 1492. And it's supposedly that 1492 is paying homage to Christopher Columbus and founding of America. A lot can be said about that, but I'll hold off. In any case, they talked about Amazon being interested in opportunities relating to the development of software and hardware as it relates to the healthcare IT industry. And I was like, bro, this is like right up my alley. Now, the other thing I'll say is like when I was looking and reading about this, I read a lot of spin-off articles first that quoted the original CNBC article. And honestly, I got a little annoyed because I was like, man, everyone's like saying different things. Like, I don't know if it's because they're getting sources elsewhere. It didn't seem like that, but they were like misinterpreting or interpreting the information in a wrong way. So it kind of annoyed me. And you can probably see that now. And because of that, I am going to relay information to you guys, mainly from that original CNBC article. Now, what I should say also is the source of that. So CNBC is publishing this article on behalf of two individuals that were close to that project, supposedly. Everything's kind of like speculation, so take it kind of with a grain of salt. Another thing that CNBC in that article talked about was how Amazon is interested in exploring opportunities that aim to pull and push information from legacy electronic medical records. Now, for those of you who don't know what that means, give you a very, very basic explanation. Organization A and Organization B. So Organization A is wanting to send information to Organization B, aka push. So they push information out to Organization B. And later on, Organization A needs to make a decision about some patient and they want to retrieve information. So they pull information, which granted could be different types of information and stuff like that. So they pull information back or retrieve information to make an evidence-based decision. Hashtag I like to use the words evidence-based. All right, so far so good, right? Pretty interesting. There's more though. They are also exploring opportunities in telemedicine, so where patients can have virtual consultations with their doctors. In their article, it talks about how they might want to leverage their existing hardware like Alexa, Echo, and Dashbot. I'm not very familiar with their hardware, aside from Alexa, which is like a personal assistant kind of device. Similar but not similar to Siri, but it sounds like they may, work on software related to healthcare and deliver it through one of their existing hardware. What was interesting to me is like I feel like all these tech companies are a little quirky in some ways. In a lot of the job postings, the CNBC article talks about how like a lot of individuals that were affiliated with the project on the LinkedIn profiles would mark somewhere in the LinkedIn profiles, I'm not sure where, it says like A1.492 to show that they're affiliated with the project. And Amazon posted like various job descriptions with very unique descriptions talking about secretive project, blah, blah, blah. And they had like positions for like UX design manager and what else was the other one? It was like machine learning directors. Well, unfortunately, Amazon's website got all erased. All that stuff got erased. They deleted it, and all the individuals that had that stuff on their LinkedIn profiles deleted it. So you can't find that stuff anymore, unfortunately. So with that being said, some of my thoughts. First off, I'm going to say I'm still really annoyed at those spin-off articles because I feel as though they misinterpreted a lot of that information. And one of the things that annoyed me, it's related but not related, is that all of them had some mention of like AI, artificial intelligence or augmented intelligence, whatever you want to say. The thing that was odd is like the original article didn't even talk about augmented intelligence or artificial intelligence. And I'm like, why are you bringing it up? It almost makes it seem like they're using a buzzword to drive all this interest to their article. Granted, there is AI in healthcare, and a lot of it can be categorized as clinical decision support, which very well exists in a lot of healthcare. There's a lot of other AIs that AI in healthcare that I'm not aware of as well, and some of the ones that is more interesting is things you can do with natural language processing, which I would say is there but not there. The thing is, I don't know too much about it to have an intelligent conversation about, so I'm not going to talk into that. Regardless, some of the stuff, there's a lot of other information in the articles, so I would just, if you read it, just be very cautious in how you interpret that. The other thought I have is like, do I think Amazon can succeed in this field? The original answer is no. Now, I was very skeptical, especially when they announced that they were trying to get into the pharmaceutical industry back in May of this year. And I was like, yo, there's already so many big players in the game, and just because you want to get into it because you're a big company doesn't mean you're going to be successful. And the reason why is because like this is like healthcare is like a $3 trillion industry, right? If everyone knows it's lucrative and everyone wants a piece of it, but if it was that easy to get into, everyone would be in it. So I was like, no, these guys can't get into it. They're not even like barely medical or have that healthcare experience. Granted, I know they were distributing like medical supplies and things like that. And the reason why healthcare is so difficult to get into is because of HIPAA and regulations and law, and it's so difficult to navigate around. You know, even as a healthcare professional, the HIPAA laws are, you know, sometimes just very hard to navigate around on what you can and cannot do. And there's just so much red tape in your daily operations that for someone who doesn't have experience in navigating it, it will be very challenging. Even if you bring in individuals that do, it's still challenging. And now you add an additional, completely different layer of complexity to it because of like cybersecurity. You know, now because we're digitized and electronic, it is that much more difficult to control the security and privacy of patient information. So my thoughts, again, is no. But I did have an experience. Maybe it's not that great of an example to use, but, you know, it's more of an intuition almost. I went to a networking event with Amazon in May of this year. And, you know, I met a couple of their staffers, the recruiters. There was about like 10 of them that I met. And the experience that I took away was that Amazon seems like they are a great company. They have a keen eye for talent as well, is what I noticed. The people that I met came from all these different places. They seem to be very smart individuals, and they have a very great work ethic. So I was like, that's pretty interesting. You know, you never met anyone from Amazon. That relation was great. You know, it was a networking event, so I'm maybe a little biased here that they only send their most personable and intelligible individuals out. So I mean, that definitely could be the case. But it seemed as though the sense I got was that I think they have the potential. And the term they seem to like to use is like general athletes. You know, they hire individuals that are general athletes, that they basically dabble in a little bit of everything. They have knowledge in a little bit of everything. They have great work ethic. They're kind of smart. Things of that sort. So you know what? I think that they have the potential to do it, especially from what I've seen. Granted, even if it is biased. I think what is most unique, most positive about this experience, that seeing all this news, is that a lot of commentators said how ripe the healthcare IT industry is for disrupting. And I'm sure you all know, you know, quotes and comments from everyone is like, Amazon is taking over the world. And they really are. It's like they're disrupting all these different types of industries. And, you know, healthcare IT industry right now is definitely ripe for disrupting. And the reason why I say that is because, number one, the field is very new. Just a couple years ago, so in 2013, I was on rotations and I was rotating through hospitals that still had paper charts. You know, it's weird to think about, but we didn't really use the computers. We were like looking through patients' charts and making decisions on them, looking at labs. It was like lab from yesterday. You got to scroll through this like huge stack of papers. It was crazy. But because of that, though, you think about it. It's so new that hospitals, all these different hospitals, are becoming transitioned to these electronic or digitized electronic health records, that it's very hard to, you know, be an expert on it, you know, to use it effectively. And that's kind of where my thoughts are. We have a lot of great individuals in this field. We have a lot of great technology in this field. And we have a lot of the tools that we need in this field. The problem is we don't know how to use it. We don't know how to effectively use it. And I think that's why I completely agree with statements made by others that the industry, healthcare IT industry, is ripe for disrupting. There is a ton of potential, and you know, for a company like Amazon, I know that like Google and Apple have interest in the healthcare industry as well. You know, for new ideas and innovation and creativity to come in, I think that the potential for disrupting is certainly there. You know, on the betterment of patient care, certainly I agree and welcome anyone that is interested in, you know, bringing more ideas to the table and coming in and telling us better ways of how we can do things. All right, guys, so that's kind of the news for today. A lot of speculation out there. All I see is just spin-off articles. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'm definitely very interested in following this kind of story because, you know, it's right up my alley. But I'd like to hear from some of you guys. Let me know what you think. But until next time, guys. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in and watching the video. If you like the content, definitely hit the ImproRx button over to your left to subscribe, and definitely check out more videos over here to your right. Now, as always, if you have questions, comments, and even better, suggestions for future videos, definitely let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, until next time, guys.